I experienced premature ejaculation for more than 5 years, and because of my total lack of capability of handling the whole sexual interaction, I let my partners to basically take the lead and do everything. And for my part, I try to compensate that by either being romantic, sensitive, or like trying to give them pleasure in other ways like orals, for example. Because if I wasn't able to penetrate them in the masculine way that they were asking for, then I was trying to fill that gap with emotional connection by being loving and supported, because I was sure that that was something that women would appreciate. And being like this made them dry as fuck. Because of not being able to have sex properly, I ended up losing like my masculine essence, my mindset, and my personality at some point. And I changed that for being the loving and sensible guy. And it wasn't until I started to do the opposite of those things that they started to be a little bit more sexually attractive. And that's when I understood that if you actually want to arouse girls, to get them wet for you, there's a thing that you cannot lack, and that is dominance. And today I want to make that concept easy for you. My name is Jesus Noya, and I help men to last longer in bed, become sexually dominant, and be more attractive. All this while avoiding the deadly mistakes that I made through my sex life. This comes from my medical background of being a medicine student and 5 years of struggling with things like premature ejaculation, performance anxiety, and non-existent sexual confidence. Today I want to save you from being the bitch instead of the man in the relationship and during sex. And I want to help you to increase your sexual dominance so sex is 1,000 times better. And that way you're able to deepen the connection and the love in your relationship, establishing a really healthy and passionate dynamic. And if you want to accelerate the process to become a sex god and be the man of her life, go and click the link in the description right now. That way you can be in contact with me and we can work together to make that a reality as soon as possible for you. So go and click it right now. There are 3 things that are going to happen once you start to increase your sexual dominance and you start to be more like the man in the relationship, like the person that is actually taking the lead and making things happen. When you're a man like that, you will attract the right women, it will be the best sex of your life, and it will also help you to improve your relationship to an insane level. So let's jump into it. Let's make an exercise very quick. Try to close your eyes for 1 second and visualize like the kind of relationship that you actually want, like the perfect relationship. What do you see? If you're a man like me, for example, you want a woman that loves you deeply, that really wants to be the mother of your children, someone that is up to do anything for you, whatever you ask her, a woman that is madly sexy, that wants to have sex with you 24/7, where you can feel the sexual tension all the time, a woman that maybe even look at you as a god because of how important you are for her. Now, if you want an independent girl where you guys can like split the bill and she may even do begging with you from time to time, just click off right now. This video is not for you. And in order to have that relationship that we want, choosing the right partner is something super important. And for that, we need to be able to attract that kind of feminine, sexy, and loving girl. When I was a teen, for example, I was able to see how dominance actually plays a huge role during that process. I was dating like this kind of beautiful and soft girls that used to be so in love with me, and the curious thing was that they all liked the same traits. They liked the fact that I was dominant, that I had a lot of confidence in myself. They even liked the fact that I was full of ego. When you are a man like that, you will attract the women that like those traits, and thanks to God, those kind of women happen to be the more beautiful and sexy out there, the kind of women that we were just imagining before. However, nowadays, unfortunately, it's very difficult to see this. It's very difficult to find a man like this. Right now, for example, I'm living in Lima, Peru, in South America, and what I usually see when I go outside for the couples is mostly embarrassing. A lot of men here are what I call soft boys, you know, a man that is shy, that barely speaks, that they're needy all the time, someone that you could even call cute if you get what I mean. However, a lot of them are actually in relationships, they're able to attract women. But what kind of women do they attract? How their girlfriends look like? Bruh. This is not a surprise. The thing is that when you act like a soft boy that have dangerous low levels of testosterone, women need to put the pants in the relationship, the one that speak out loud, that is strong and dominant, the one that take the decisions, and they will do this during sex as well. That's why those girls usually act like that. That's something that I call pisados in here. That is basically like those women are stepping up on their boyfriend, and you can always feel like that aggressive energy coming from her. It's like they even hate their partners, and if not hate, it's like they're bothering, like they're a baby that they need to take care of. And well, some men would say that they are into that they like a woman that is strong and dominant, but to be honest, I don't think that they're actually happy, not the men and not the women, because the girl has to be all the time in this aggressive mood that is stressful for her, and the man become like an empty shell, like a parasite that is always trying to like suck emotions from the girl. It's just gross, and I know that because I used to be that kind of man before, and believe me, I wasn't happy at all. My life was a total mess. But when you are a dominant male, you will repel those kind of girls and instead attract like that beautiful women that will pull you into love and an exciting relationship that you guys want. And with that kind of women and you into this energy, it will be the best sex that you will ever experience in your life. This is because this will be the sex that will align with your authentic sexual energy, the one that is in the inner core of your spirit. Just understand this for a second. As a man, you have millions of years of evolution on your side that have shaped your body in a way where you can give the most pleasurable and deep connections through sex. This is in every man in your natural state. This is how nature has created you. And the closer you are to that natural state, the more primal, animalistic, and wild that you go, the better the experience will be. Being dominant is one of the natural sexual traits of a man. And when you perform sex like this, it will spike some parts in your brain and body that will make you feel it like never before. Before I used to have all the time this kind of cute sex, mainly because of my premature ejaculation, and I wasn't able to go as fast and hard as I would like to. And to my perception, it was good, or like good enough, because there was a lot of foreplay and orals and stuff, or trying to make it slow sometimes so I could make it last a little bit more. That's how I used to have sex. But one day I was with a hot girl that I used to date before. We ended up being drunk and the sexual tension was a lot, probably because of the alcohol or the circumstances. I was able to last way more, and because I was in control for the first time in my life, I was able to be dominant. And believe me, man, when we finished, I almost ended up crying, because for the first time in my life, after years of what I finally realized it was only mediocre sex, I felt like a fucking man. Once you're able to pound a girl in a way that she starts to say your name or even scream, believe me that you would never want to go back to the kind of low vanilla sex. It's a night and day difference. And you can only achieve this through this kind of dominant and aggressive energy. Just think about it for 1 second. Which kind of sex would you enjoy the most? The one where you're giving her all of the time, where your butt in the air and your feet doing like this, making it at a slow pace like you're a priest, where you have to see her face burn and like expecting for things to end, she begging you? Or that kind of sex where you guys are all like sweaty and barely can breathe, where she screams your name almost crying and you can feel the heart rate of each other going fast? I mean, it's totally up to you. You choose which one you want. A lot of women and men think that this concept of dominance is something that comes from like cringe, toxic, and alpha male kind of behavior. And this is a totally misunderstood topic. I've seen how this misunderstanding over and over again totally kill relationships. I used to behave before like a submissive man, a nice guy, a good boy, right? All the time. For the sake of my relationships, I thought that I was doing something good, avoiding toxicity or being jealous. I thought that being dominant was something cringe. I actually wanted to do things right, but I ended up making totally the opposite, and I was suffering a lot. I used to encourage my partners to take the lead on the decisions in the relationship because I thought it was something positive, something for both of us to have more enjoyment, and we both hated it. She wasn't happy either, because what kind of woman would be happy with a man that doesn't add anything to her life? Every man in the world can be cute, loving, and supportive. It's not that much of a deal. And it wasn't until I started to step up that things started to change. After a lot of the hardship that I have to go by working different jobs, being a legal immigrant, and dealing with a bunch of bullshit, I realized that if I wanted to have success in life and be able to protect my beloved ones, I needed to become way more of a dominant man. And when that happened, things started to change. For the good, because I was the one now taking charge. She could be relaxed, have more time to enjoy herself and focus on her problems instead of the problems of the relationship. I became her rock, like a real life support, a problem solver. This is something that happened years ago, and I'm not in that relationship anymore, but the lessons that I learned from that were very, very valuable. One of the things that ended up the relationship actually was the fact that before, I used to behave like a bitch all the time, and even if I changed like a person, there were some things that were just unfixable. But note that you have all this narrative of people telling you that being dominant is something that is bad for you, that is bad for your relationship, that is bad for the women out there, that this is something toxic and cringy or old-fashioned. But what actually happens is that when you lack that part, this is the result, and this happens over and over again. So as a bottom line, when you become way more of a dominant male, sexually and spiritually, your relationship improves to an insane level. I'm never going back to the days where I used to be submissive all the time. And to be honest, nowadays I feel very happy. This is the best that I ever felt. And that's what I want for you. I don't want you to be in these kind of BS relationships all the time with women that will not value your traits as a man. A relationship where you don't have a say in, where you feel like a little scared girl and your dick is like half hard, half soft during sex. I want for you that kind of vibrant and full of energy, loving connection. My hope with this video is that you learn from my past mistakes and that you can start to work from now on your sexual dominance. Always aiming to have the most beautiful and fulfilling relationship with a very, very passionate sex life. I really wish that for you. Remember that if you want to accelerate the process to become a sex god and be the man of her life, go and click the link in the description right now. That way you can be in contact with me and work together to make that a reality as soon as possible for you. But besides that, man, I really hope this helps you, and I'll see you later.